Hi, welcome Shanti.
Hi, thank you.
ഇപ്പൊ സ്വീറ്റ് കാരം കോഫി ഒരുപാട് ചർച്ചകൾ ചെയ്യപ്പെട്ടുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. കാരണം വെച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഒന്ന് അതില് 3 ജനറേഷൻസിൽ വെൽക്കം ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ള ആക്ടേഴ്സ് ലക്ഷ്മി ഉണ്ട്, മധു ആൻഡ് നൗ ശാന്തി. ശാന്തിയെ ഇപ്പൊ ആളുകൾക്ക് എന്തായാലും ഡെഫിനറ്റ്ലി മലയാളികൾക്ക് പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് അറിയാം. ആ ജനറേഷൻസിൽ എല്ലാവർക്കും അപ്രീഷിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്ന രീതിയിലാണ് അതിന്റെ ഒരു ഇറ്റ്സ് ജേർണി ആസ് വെൽ. സോ എങ്ങനെയാണ് ആളുകളുടെ റിസപ്റ്റീവ്നെസ് എങ്ങനെയാണ്? യു മസ്റ്റ് ഹാവ് ബീൻ ഗെറ്റിംഗ് ഫീഡ്ബാക്സ് ആൻഡ് കമന്റ്സ് ആൻഡ് അപ്രീസിയേഷൻ ബിക്കോസ് യു ഹാവ് ഡൺ വെരി വെൽ ആൻഡ് ഇറ്റ്സ് എ ത്രൂ ഔട്ട് ക്യാരക്ടർ.
ഭയങ്കര പോസിറ്റീവ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള റെസ്പോൺസ് ആണ് കിട്ടിയിരിക്കുന്നത്, എസ്പെഷ്യലി ഐ തിങ്ക് ഫ്രം വിമൻ who who are not usually the target of a web series. The target audience is usually the 18 to 35 man. പക്ഷെ സ്വീറ്റ് കാരം കോഫി ടാർഗറ്റ്സ് അനദർ ഡെമോഗ്രാഫിക് ഓൾ ടുഗെദർ. അപ്പോൾ അവരെ ടാർഗറ്റ് ചെയ്ത ഒരു കോണ്ടന്റ് കിട്ടിയതിന്റെ ഒരു സന്തോഷം അവർ എക്സ്പ്രസ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. ലോട്ട് ഓഫ് വിമൻ ഹാവ് മെസ്സേജ് ബിക്കോസ് ഈ ക്യാരക്ടേഴ്സ് എല്ലാം ഭയങ്കര റിലേറ്റബിൾ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ക്യാരക്ടേഴ്സ് ആണ്. അവരുടെ ചുറ്റുപാട്ടത്ത് തന്നെ കാണുന്ന സ്ത്രീകളെയാണ് നമ്മൾ സ്ക്രീനിലും കാണുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ ആ ക്യാരക്ടേഴ്സിന്റെ സ്ട്രഗിൾസും കോൺഫ്ലിക്ട്സും ഡിസയേഴ്സും എല്ലാം കാണുന്ന സ്ത്രീകൾക്ക് ഭയങ്കരമായിട്ട് റിലേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ട്. പിന്നെ ഈ ക്യാരക്ടേഴ്സ് എഴുതിയിരിക്കുന്ന രീതി എന്താണെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഇറ്റ്സ് ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റിംഗ് ബിക്കോസ് ഈവൻ മെൻ ക്യാൻ റിലേറ്റ് ടു ദീസ് ക്യാരക്ടേഴ്സ് ബിക്കോസ് ദേ ഹവ് സീൻ ദം അറൌണ്ട് ദം. അപ്പൊ ആ ഒരു ലെവൽ ഓഫ് കണക്ഷൻ എല്ലാവർക്കും കിട്ടുന്നുണ്ട്. സോ ആൻഡ് ദർസ് എ ഹ്യൂജ് ഫാൻ ബേസ് ഫോർ ലക്ഷ്മി മാം ആൻഡ് മധു മാം. അപ്പൊ ഇവരെ തിരിച്ച് സ്ക്രീനിൽ കാണുന്നതിന്റെ ഒരു എക്സൈറ്റ്മെന്റ് കുറെ ആൾക്കാർ എക്സ്പ്രസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. അതും ഒരുമിച്ച് ഇവര് രണ്ടുപേരും മുമ്പ് ഒരുമിച്ച് വർക്ക് ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ല. സോ ഐ തിങ്ക് ലോട്ട് ഓഫ് പീപ്പിൾ ഹു ഗ്രൂ അപ്പ് watching Lakshmi ma'am and Madhu ma'am on their screens are excited to have them back on their screens. അപ്പോൾ ഒരു older generation ഒത്തിരി നല്ല ഫീഡ്ബാക്ക് കിട്ടുന്നുണ്ട്. പിന്നെ like I said, the demographic is slightly different. അത് കാരണം it's not necessarily the tweeting Instagram story review kind of audience at all. It's mostly women who are sharing it in their family WhatsApp groups and their alumni groups, and that's how the word is spreading. So that's been very interesting because people are watching and calling each other up and saying, hey, we watched this, you should watch it too. Angane pinne idoru family friendly aayittulla oru content ayadu കാരണം a lot of people are watching it like having a shared experience. ഒരാള് ഫോണിൽ മാത്രം കണ്ടിരിക്കാതെ lot of people are watching it, casting it onto their television screens and watching it as a family. So that's also been nice. ഒരു ബോണ്ടിങ് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ആവുന്നുണ്ട് ഈ ഷോ. കുറെ മെസ്സേജസ് വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഞാൻ എന്റെ അമ്മൂമ്മയുടെയും അമ്മയുടെയും കൂടെയാണ് ഷോ കണ്ടത്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സിസ്റ്റേഴ്സ് വി ഓൾ സാറ്റ് ആൻഡ് വാച്ച്ഡ് ടുഗദർ അങ്ങനെ. So it's been very nice to receive that love.
Passion or love?
You have been into theater and അഭിനയിച്ച ഫിലിംസ് ഒക്കെ ഒരു മെമ്മറബിൾ, ചെറിയ ക്യാരക്ടേഴ്സ് ആണെങ്കിൽ പോലും അത് വളരെ മെമ്മറബിൾ ആവുന്ന രീതിയിലുള്ള പെർഫോമൻസസ് ഒക്കെ ആയിരുന്നു മലയാളത്തിൽ ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ളത്. So how this character came?
This character just kind of came to me as a fully packaged gift because I was one of the last people to be cast. Lakshmi ma'am and Madhu ma'am ellarum they had already been cast. Pinne most of the technical team ellarum fixed aayirunnu. One fine evening എനിക്കൊരു കോൾ വന്നു and I was just basically told ഞങ്ങളൊരു വെബ് സീരീസ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്, തമിഴിൽ ആമസോണിന് വേണ്ടിയാണ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. മധു മാമും ലക്ഷ്മി മാമും ആയിരിക്കും അമ്മയും ഗ്രാൻഡ് മദറിന്റെ റോൾ പ്ലേ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. വി ആർ ലുക്കിംഗ് ഫോർ ദ തേർഡ് ആക്ടർ ടു പ്ലേ ദ ഗ്രാൻഡ് ഡോട്ടർ. വുഡ് യു ബി ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റഡ്? ഇങ്ങനെയാണ് എന്റെ അടുത്ത് ചോദിച്ചത്. ഓഫ് കോഴ്സ് ഐ ജംപ്ഡ് അറ്റ് ദി ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി. യൂഷ്വലി എന്റെ വർക്ക് എല്ലാം മിക്കപ്പോഴും വന്നിട്ടുള്ളത് ഞാൻ ഓഡിഷൻ ചെയ്തിട്ടാണ്. ലൈക്ക് I would have seen a casting call or something and I would have approached by sending the audition video. But this sort of found me. So it was a new experience for me also to be given a project on a platter like this.
That's wonderful. കാരണം ഇപ്പൊ അതും when you look at the casting and the whole series കാണുമ്പോഴും we find it quite apt. Your appearance also matches very very nicely there.
I think a lot of people have said that we actually come across as a family. എല്ലാവർക്കും ഞങ്ങളുടെ chemistry work ആയിട്ടുണ്ട്, which is very nice to hear because obviously when you work with such talented actors and people feel that you are able to feed off each other's energy, that's a huge compliment. People have said, like, different people see different things. Some people feel that I have a resemblance to Madhubala because both of us have high cheekbones. Some people have felt that my face or the shape of it is like Lakshmi ma'am. They're able to see kind of, connections between the three characters in terms of like facial features as well, which is interesting.
உனக்கு ஒரு பாய் ஃப்ரெண்ட் இருக்கான்னு எனக்கு தெரியும். ஒவ்வொருத்தரும் ஒவ்வொரு காரணத்துக்காக கிளம்பிட்டோம். நினைச்சு பார்த்தா வேடிக்கையா இருக்கு.
As a kutti also you are quite good, and കുറച്ച് ഇപ്പം അതിലൊരു ഡ്രീം സീക്വൻസ് പോലെ ഉണ്ടല്ലോ, that is also like you are quite apt in that, so that's how I found.
Yeah, I mean, for me that was a very interesting day because we shot the school sequence and the sequence as like a mother of two kids both on the same day. So in the morning I went and played basketball and was the school kid feeling rejected, and then in the afternoon I went and played a mother to two kids and was feeling rejected by the family. So it was a interesting kind of work day for me.
അത് പറഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ ആ സീക്വൻസ്, ബാസ്കറ്റ്ബോൾ സീക്വൻസ് ഓർക്കുന്നത്, യു ഹാവ് ഡൺ ഇറ്റ് വെരി നൈസ്ലി. ഐ മീൻ അതിന്റെ ഒരു face expression, switching, because people know what you have in mind as a character, and that gradual switching to or not gradual, it's a quick switch when this guy says this, so it's very nice, in fact. Yeah, and it's surprising that you did both in the same day, on the same day. So how is it working with these two gems actually? Of course other people are also like avarum avarude രീതിയിൽ വിക്രം ക്യാരക്ടർ ചെയ്ത ആളാണെങ്കിലും എല്ലാവരും ഡാഡ് ക്യാരക്ടർ രാജരത്നം ക്യാരക്ടർ ചെയ്ത ആളാണെങ്കിലും wonderful performance and the combination also wherever it is, and the brother, പക്ഷേ mostly you were with Lakshmi ma'am and Madhoo. So how was it working with
I think casting wise they really did a good job bringing us together. I feel like each of us was very excited about the role that we had to play. We got along from day one. Lakshmi ma'am and Madhu ma'am ഇത്രയും senior ആയിട്ടുള്ള actors ആണെങ്കിലും ഇത്രയും experienced ആയിട്ടുള്ള actors ആണെങ്കിലും they didn't have that attitude of she's just starting out, she's a junior. അങ്ങനെ ഒരിക്കലും they didn't have that. They just took it as three people here to do a job, and they were very welcoming and warm, and they really took me under their wings. It was really like a family dynamic that evolved. It was a very pleasant shooting experience working with both of them. There was a lot of give and take, and it was fascinating watching these two experienced ladies at work. I found the whole shoot experience very enriching. Lakshmi ma'am bhayangara jovial ana, she'll be cracking jokes, and she's very spirited, and she's so passionate about her job even though she's been in the industry for 50 years, which is like super inspiring. And Nana, she's very spontaneous, and she's so good with delivering dialogues in a very like unexpected way. She has like such grasp over the language as well. കൊടുത്ത ഡയലോഗിനെ സ്വന്തമാക്കുന്ന ഒരു രീതി, that was very nice to watch. Madhu ma'am is a bit of an emotional sponge. She will pick up your energy from in a scene and then like give it back to you in a very interesting way. Appo ivaru kude ulla chemistry while working on a scene was really great. Appo adeniki bhayangara oru memorable experience thaneyana. Like one of my favorite scenes is the scene the three of us have on top of the terrace. ഞങ്ങൾ മൂന്നുപേര് ഇരുന്ന് സംസാരിക്കുന്നത്, അത് എനിക്ക് ഭയങ്കര ഇഷ്ടമുള്ള ഒരു സീനാണ്. പിന്നെ ലക്ഷ്മി മാമിന്റെ കൂടെ താജ്മഹലിന്റെ മുമ്പിലുള്ള ഒരു സീനുണ്ട്, ദാറ്റ്സ് ഓൾസോ വൺ ഓഫ് മൈ ഫേവറേറ്റ് സീൻസ്. പിന്നെ മധു മാമിന്റെ കൂടെ ആ ഡ്രീം സീക്വൻസ് എനിക്ക് ഭയങ്കര ഇഷ്ടമായിരുന്നു, ബിക്കോസ് like we were mirroring each other in that. Pinna all the conversations basically are what stood out for me, because that's a grain of truth in all the conversations. That is what I really enjoyed the most, the emotional unraveling of the characters.
Tamil adime പഠിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടോ? അതോ Tamil?
I was familiar with Tamil, so I understand Tamil perfectly well. So it wasn't confusing for me at any point. It was just a matter of learning the lines and making them your own.
So അതിൽ ഇപ്പൊ ഈ conversations പറയുമ്പോൾ improvisations ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു, like your own style of presenting the dialogues, or അങ്ങനത്തെ രീതിയിലുണ്ടോ, അതോ it was like written dialogues you were presenting it like that?
I mean, there was a bit of freedom, obviously. Like Just like I found it just like when you work in Malayalam, like you make it your own, right? Like sometimes you may not say the things in the exact order that it is written, but you know what you're supposed to communicate. So then you have the freedom to do that.
ആക്ച്വലി ഇത് പറഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ ചോദിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഇവരുടെ ഈ മധു ഓഫ് കോഴ്സ് ഒരുപക്ഷെ റീസെന്റ് പാസ്റ്റ് എന്ന് വേണമെങ്കിൽ എനിക്ക് പറയാം. ഷി വാസ് ഇൻ ദ ലൈം ലൈറ്റ്. അപ്പോൾ യു മൈറ്റ് ഹാവ് സീൻ നാച്ചുറലി കാണാനുള്ള സാധ്യത ഉണ്ടോ? ലക്ഷ്മി മാമിന്റെ ക്യാരക്ടേഴ്സ് കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ടോ ശാന്തി?
Yeah, no, Bharatam is one of my favorite films. So I mean, I haven't watched a lot of her work, but that's a character she played that has remained etched in my mind. I mean, Bharatam is an amazing movie, but also all the performances in the film are amazing. So that's one of the films of hers that I really vividly remember.
Excitement and development work. I mean, I'm looking at the time when the project was started. അതിന്റെ ഒപ്പം there is kind of അത്രയും സീനിയേഴ്സിന്റെ ഒപ്പം വർക്ക് ചെയ്യാന്നുള്ളതിന്റെ ഒരു did you have that kind of anxiety or something?
No, actually, I was just excited. I wasn't scared. My mind didn't go there. I was just very happy to have received this opportunity and to just be in the same space as these actors who endeared themselves to the audiences for years. So I think I approached it from a place of excitement rather than fear.
Actually, എന്നാ തുടങ്ങിയത് ഈ പ്രോജക്റ്റ്? കാരണം ഇറ്റ്സ് കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് എ ലോങ്, ഈച്ച് ഓഫ് ദി എപ്പിസോഡ്സ് ആർ ലൈക്ക് 35 minutes 40 minutes ഒക്കെ ഉള്ള എപ്പിസോഡ്സ് ആണ്. സോ നാച്ചുറലി ഇറ്റ് വുഡ് ഹാവ് ടേക്കൺ ദാറ്റ് മച്ച് ടൈം ഓൾസോ ടു ഷൂട്ട്. പല ലൊക്കേഷൻസിലും അല്ലേ?
Was that we were shooting in the middle of COVID. This was 2021 that we started. Appo Amazon had very strict protocols when it came to COVID. So anytime anybody on set fell sick, we had to halt shoot and everybody would go back home. So angane sambhavicha karanam the shoot ended up, these 60 days ended up getting spread across a whole year. So we finished shoot only last year in June, and then it took almost a year of post production for it to reach the audience. So it was quite a long process. I mean, I got the call for the show in March 2021. So it's been, I mean, and obviously they've been working on it for far longer.
ഒരുപാട് സ്ഥലങ്ങളുണ്ട്, like you were saying, Taj Mahal, and you are traveling through different places. There was a road travel as well. So how was it traveling through all these places, especially during this COVID time?
There were restrictions, crew in the size and restrictions undarno. It was not like shooting in probably in a more normal span of time. There were lots of rules and we all had to keep getting COVID tests every couple of days. Angane kore protocol undarno. So they had to work within these constraints, which is also a huge challenge. Pinna nammal yatra poi oru sthalathu poi shoot cheyan thodangi, then we had to cancel, we had to come back, and then we had to go there again 3 months later. So there was a lot of back and forth. So when I watch the scenes, I can tell that something has been shot in 1 month and the remaining part of that scene has been shot like 6 months later. It may not be evident to the audience, but as an actor, I remember the sequence in which things were done. It's fascinating to see how it's been put together and made to feel seamless.
That's true. നമുക്കത് മേക്കൗട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല. ആൻഡ് ഓഫ് കോഴ്സ് അത് കോവിഡ് സമയത്ത് ചെയ്താന്ന് പോലും മനസ്സിലാവില്ല. I thought it's done after that. പിന്നെ ഡയറക്ടേഴ്സ് നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞ കാര്യമാണ്. There are 3 directors and there is a producer who I heard like had a very good command on the whole picture. അപ്പോൾ how was it working with different under the command of different command, in the sense I know you all worked in a very good harmony.
It was a really interesting experience. Obviously for all of us actors, it was the first time we were doing something like that. So we had 3 directors and a showrunner. The showrunner is the person who was Reshma Ghatala, who is also one of the writers, and she sort of ensured that all 3 directors kind of worked together to create to stay consistent to one vision. But obviously all the directors avarku avarudedaaya reethiyal undavum, avarudedaaya style undayirikkum. Adu undayirunnappozhum I mean there was freedom to maintain that while also making sure that the story progressed in a way that made sense to somebody watching it. In a disjointed experience avadirikan, there was a showrunner who was overseeing the whole project. So I mean all ഞങ്ങൾ start ചെയ്തത് somehow we managed to mostly do it in a way that was linear according to the script. Aditya episode ആണ് ആദ്യം ഷൂട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ തുടങ്ങിയത്. അത് ബിജോയുടെ എപ്പിസോഡ് ആണ്. First episode, 8th episode ആണ് ബിജോയ് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്, bookends. So he was the most experienced of the directors, and it was nice that he set us off on that journey because he gave us a sense of what the characters were, and he set the tone for the show basically. So we worked together on that first episode, and then we went into the travel portion. So we tried to stick to how the narrative progresses on screen. It was not always like that, but yeah, they did the best they could to make sure that there was some level of continuity in terms of characters and emotions. And then episodes 2, 3, 4 were done by Swathi Raghuraaman, who's also one of the writers. And episodes 5, 6, 7 were done by Krishna Marimuthu, who directed Dharala Prabhu. So we had as actors, it was interesting adapting to each director's vision and style. But like I said, there was somebody who was also there to make sure that, there weren't, jarring jumps between the episodes in terms of characterization or performance. So it worked out in the end.
How did you feel when you watched the whole series with your family?
Yeah, we watched it the night it was released, and it was interesting for me because it was such a long wait as well, and I hadn't, really gotten a sense of how it all comes together. And obviously there are also portions in the story where we are not present as actors, so which were completely fresh for me to watch, which was nice. Like all the Sundari flashback portions and the Kaveri flashback portions and the scenes between the father and the son, the boyfriend and the brother, all of those were interesting for me to watch because I came to those scenes with like fresh eyes. And yeah, I think as an actor, whenever you watch your work, there'll always be an element of criticism, self-criticism, that you cannot avoid. So that's always there. But my parents really enjoyed the show, and I think they were very happy watching something of the scale and something that was so relatable. There were scenes where my father was laughing because he could see that there are times when he has behaved the way Rajaratnam behaves, like being obsessed with his phone, and Amma obviously had lots of things to connect with, and she was chuckling at various points, and like they had a good laugh at how things were panning out on screen versus what they've experienced in real life. Yeah, they really enjoyed the show and they were very happy, so it was nice to share that experience with them.
In the storyline, yeah, of course, there is one, very simple storyline. But at the same time, there are many incidents that are quite philosophical, insights. There is definitely when you show a family at any age, there are insights. I think when you said your dad watched, there are some resemblances, or those are also insights to like I'm a dad. I also had some insights as in when I watched this, and so. അത്തരം ഇത് സ്ക്രിപ്റ്റ് വായിക്കുന്ന സമയത്ത് or when you were working on those things, did you find any of the I know you told a couple of scenes that you really enjoyed doing. അതല്ലാതെ ഇപ്പൊ ഇതിന്റെ യാത്രയിൽ while doing the shoot, did you find anything quite exciting about these scenes, some incidents?
They were written really well. I think for me, it was exciting to work on a script that women had developed, because a lot of the nuance that comes in these conversations comes from lived experience. And that was exciting as an actor to portray, because you're presenting a grain of truth on screen. There's honesty in that writing, that's authenticity in that writing. So for me, like I said, it was the conversations where the characters are revealed emotionally and they're vulnerable. Those are the scenes that stand out the most, and I think a lot of people have connected to those scenes. Obviously there's like fun and games and the travel aspect of it and everything, but these moments where they kind of bare their soul, that's what worked most for me.
And did you get a chance to meet? I know Reshma was always there, and there were other writers like when I forgot her name, Menon. And did you get a chance to meet them? Or
Vinithra
talk
I
about?
definitely met, because she is a state level Tamil Nadu cricket player. She used to be. So she, it's helped me out with the cricketing stuff. We used to have Zoom calls because it was during COVID, and she used to send me videos explaining the basics. And then just before shoot, I had about like 10 sessions with her where we worked together to kind of make sure that I didn't look too off on screen with the cricket scenes. So it was really nice that, you know, she took the time out and helped me out with that scene, because it was important that Nivi's cricket scenes came off credibly, because obviously that is a very important aspect of her life. So even though we don't see a lot of her cricketing career on screen in this season, at least, it was important to establish that, you know, she is somebody who plays at a near professional level. So it was important to show those sequences as authentically as possible. And she definitely helped me a lot with that.
Superb. I didn't know about that part of her, and I mean, I just noticed that she's also part of the writing, so that's interesting. So you're talking about season 1, so our season more to come.
I don't know, fingers crossed.
Lovely. What are the new projects that are coming your way?
I have done an independent feature film with Shalini Usha Devi, who is the writer of Surya Potru. She won the National Award last year. So she directed a film called Agam a few years ago, which featured Fahad Fasil and Anumol. So this is her second directorial. She's written, directed, and produced the film. So that's what I've worked on.
Yeah, I remember that film. It's a horror kind of. Yeah.
Adaptation of Yakshi.
Right. Were there other trainings, and not trainings, kind of workshop also, that there is a good get along, or was there any script practice?
We had reading sessions with the main cast. We did a reading session on Zoom for a couple of episodes. And then even when we met for episode 1, for Bijoy's episode, we had a live reading session. And then some of the actors like me, Dev, who plays Karthik, Bala, who plays Bala, my brother, and a few of the actors who are there in the flashback portions, we all had like met for 3 days before shoot, and we had some exercises and stuff just to kind of get along and to develop an equation with each other, because like Karthik and Nivi are in a relationship and they've been together for 6 years on the show. So, you know, to kind of make that come across a little bit better, we had sessions with each other. And Bijoy, in fact, asked me and Dave to go and have like lunch together somewhere, just to like talk to each other and get to know each other a little bit, so that we'd be more at ease and, you know, ease together in front of the camera. So yeah.
That's again quite interesting. How much of your theater background helped, because it's a
Theater
throughout.
always helps, you know, it always helps with everything. I think it just helps with life as well. I think, I mean, it's something that enriches you as a person and as an actor. So I think no matter the situation, whether it's even for an acting job or not, I think in life, theater helps.
And coming back to the same question with which we started, like, which I had not noticed, as in the resemblance in face or with the family, but that could not be the only reason that, why they chose, like, Shanti should be the person who's doing Nivi's role. So there will be some some of the background characters, which some of the characters that you had already played. There is something special that they noticed in you.
I know they came to, one of the cinematographers who was supposed to be part of the series suggested my name. Her name is Yamini Yagnamurthy. She's a like up and coming director of photography, and she's done really well for herself recently. So she was actually supposed to be shooting a few of the episodes, and she was the one who sort of put my name into the lot at that point. And then they kind of looked me up, and then they felt that I would suit the character, I guess.
When it comes to series, the chances of series being watched across the, what I'm saying is, now we have got a pan-India kind of a, Anganuru Leedil Kananandavum. Are you looking for characters in Hindi, or I don't know whether you have already done?
I've done a Hindi film. It's called Gulmohar. It's released in March this year on Hotstar. So that was an interesting experience for me as well, because I got to work with veteran actors, Sharmila Tagore, Amol Palekar, Manoj Bajpayee, Simran, and of course a younger group of fresh, incoming talent as well. So that was a wonderful experience for me. The shoot itself was a lovely experience because the director wanted to make sure that we all kind of had the vibe of a family, or had the vibe of people who have lived together for a while. So we again had the reading sessions, we had workshops, we all stayed in the same hotel while shooting. So we got to know each other on and off camera, and it was a really lovely experience. And that's a character that's always going to be special to me. I really enjoyed working on that project. I think this is a very good time for actors in general, because the OTT space has opened up room for more diverse storytelling, more diverse characters. I feel generally that as an actor, it's great when you are not restricted by language. So I think it's a good time for actors to explore other industries.
It's wonderful, as in, you have worked with veterans like, Sharmila Tagore and here Lakshmi. It's something that any actor of your age or your generation cannot even imagine. It's kind of a great opportunity, and you have done it very nicely. So, it's amazing actually. And what do you do otherwise to keep on upgrading yourself? As in, now there is a language thing which I find very surprising, as in you handle very easily in Tamil and in Hindi, of course. And of course in the performance, because it's not easy, especially when there are veterans like whom you told, and when you compare, there will be comparison in the same, and yeah, of course there is a person mentoring or guiding you, but performance from within has to happen all the time, right? So what keeps you, how do you update yourself often?
I attend workshops when I can. That's definitely one thing that helps me. It just keeps me from getting complacent, I think, just to put yourself in a new situation. And I think as actors, one of the key skills that you need is the ability to adapt. So putting yourself in challenging new situations always helps. I think keeps you more on your toes. So I try to do that when I can. I also like to read. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you so much for your time. It's wonderful watching you on screen. Your performance, which we have done earlier also. It was, even though those were small roles, it's wonderful. I wish you all the very best, Santhy.
Thank you. Wish you the same. Thank you for the conversation.
Thank you.
ജനങ്ങൾക്ക് ആശ്വാസവുമായി ആശ്വാസ് കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റി ഫാർമസി. ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് മരുന്നുകൾ 15 മുതൽ 65% വരെ വിലക്കുറവിൽ. ഗുണനിലവാരമുള്ള മരുന്നുകൾ ഫാർമസിസ്റ്റുകളുടെ കരങ്ങളിലൂടെ. ഇന്ത്യയിൽ ആദ്യമായി രജിസ്റ്റേർഡ് ഫാർമസിസ്റ്റുകളാൽ രൂപീകൃതമായ സംരംഭം ആശ്വാസ് കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റി ഫാർമസി, the fastest growing chain pharmacy in India. Quality medicines through qualified hands.